Taylor Rapp here from the LA Rams. Shout out to Steve Taylor, the real sports guy, and the honorary Ram. When Steve's talk sports, you better listen. Thanks, Steve from the Rams, for your continued support and love. We are taking it all the way this year, but you already know that. Go Rams.
With Prince Bell, we rocking with Keeping It Real Sports, and we gonna be on this. We gonna be on a lot of times. I love the platform. Check in. It's the new wave. Like, follow, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Come on. I told you I got you. Wanna talk about the game, he can talk about it. Tennis, match, golf, he can talk about it. Don't matter what it is, he can talk about it. Any sport dude, he know about it. Save your boy bum, don't doubt it. If he tell you that it is what it is. The real sports guy in the Sandman. Talk show game in the bag, man. Rep, don't have to throw the flag, man. Steve Taylor, Andy Sands. It's over, OVA. Game over, they don't play. From the fourth quarter to the ninth inning. NASCAR wheels keep spinning. To the 18th hole, he's still in control. Guy on the go. Coach never missing the play, cause he know the deal. This keeping it real. Sports. Come on. Keeping it real. Yeah. Let's go.
All right, it's Saturday morning in Glass City. It's another Keeping It Real Sports podcast. I am your boy, the real sports guy. How's everybody doing? Sam, man, we got a big show planned for everybody, man. NFL, check. NHL, we got that covered. NBA, check.
Real.
World Cup soccer, check. Huge show. I think we even got some rest.
Keeping it
How you doing, my man?
You know it, buddy. Hey, listen, we've been waiting 364 days for today. That's all I'm going to say.
Man, it is a couple of big games, man, that are, man, going to be jumping off. And I guess that's where we should start. Let's talk about what's hot off the press, Andy.
All right, Steve, it's the game. The game, like I said, 364 days ago, somehow that team up north found a way to beat us. But it's here, okay? It's at home. This is it. I don't know that the stakes have ever been higher in this game. I know that they've played against each other when they're undefeated before. But the last time they did that was in 2006, and the playoff wasn't here yet, okay? Now, in my opinion, whoever loses this game still has a chance to get in the playoff, okay? I truly believe that. But let's hope it doesn't come down to that. The winner of this game gets to the Big Ten championship, and then it's pretty much a lock that they're going to be in the playoff.
Yeah,
the crowd has to come to play today, okay?
Andy, the crowd don't have to come to play. The Buckeyes have to come to play. The crowd ain't going to have a damn thing to do with it. What they're going to have to do is not get pushed around like a damn shopping cart for 3 hours like they did a year ago today, okay? Yeah. What they have to do is stand up defensively. This game is going to be won in the trenches. It's not going to be a pleasant man's game to watch. If you know football, that's where it's going to be won. The Buckeyes have said for 365 days, oh, you want to see tough? Well, I want to see it today. I know that the offense is going to show up. They pack 40 every week. They're going to pack 40 again today. The problem is, can the defense show up to shut down the Michigan Wolverines? And that's it. Now, if Michigan loses, Andy, I don't know if they get into the playoffs simply because they don't have a quality win. Now, let's revisit that early schedule. Let's see UConn. Let's see Hawaii. Let's see Colorado State. See, you have to go out and play people early in the season. People don't give a damn if you roll people early. We want to see what you're doing now.
Well, they've got a couple of quality wins. They don't have the quality wins.
Tell me your quality win. Give me one. I'll wait.
Illinois.
That's what I'm saying.
25. Penn
Illinois,
State.
okay, you beat Illinois by a field goal at the gun in a game you should have lost.
They handled Penn State. You got to give them credit for that one. You know, all I'm saying is, let me rephrase that then. If Ohio State loses, they still have a chance. If Michigan loses, they don't. Is that what we agree on that, right?
And there we go.
All right, there we go. And by the way, Purdue controls their own destiny today. Because if they win, they go to the Big Ten championship.
They're in.
If Illinois wins and Purdue loses, then Illinois is in the Big Ten championship. Iowa blew their own chances last night when they lost to Nebraska at home, by the way.
But they're on life support because as a favorite, Purdue has not covered all year of their favorite today. They fallen short when they favored, okay? And we know what Illinois can do, okay? So if both of them, man, crack the bed today, guess what? Here's Iowa sitting there like, okay, we're with it.
Steve, to me, the Ohio State's defense has to make J.J. McCarthy beat them. You cannot allow
He's going to have to do
Blake
something
Moore to
else.
run the ball.
Andy, that's it. The kid's going to have to do something else. They're not going to just run the damn ball on Ohio State.
That's right.
Like they did
That's
last year.
absolutely
They're gonna have
right.
to do something else. Hey,
And
man,
this is why you got Jim Knowles.
It wasn't for no other game. It's for today.
That's right. All right, quick hitters. Let's do it.
Quick hitters.
You know, you and I could have spent a whole show talking about that.
Oh,
I don't know if everybody would have enjoyed that, so that's why we're going to keep moving on. And speaking of moving on, you talked about some wrestling, right? Yeah, buddy. It's the last pay-per-view of the year in the WWE, and it's going to go out with a bang. War Games Survivor Series. Steve, War Games, this is the first time WWE has ever done this on the main stage. They did it at NXT, which is like their version of a minor league wrestling kind of where they develop their talent. But tonight, there's a men's match and a women's match where they're going to have two rings pushed together and a steel cage over the top of them. And then it's almost like a short Royal Rumble. Everybody comes in after 3 or 5 minutes, and the match doesn't even start. The bell doesn't even ring until everybody's in the rings together. It's going to be epic, man. I cannot wait. It's like Christmas for me. I get Ohio State, Michigan, and I get a pay-per-view on the same day. I'm excited.
They took the idea from the NWA. NWA has done that for years.
That's fine.
It's a great idea.
They're going to do it better tonight.
Hey, look here, man. Let's go to the NFL, man, for my quick hitter, man. Hey, look here. Breaking news. Zach Wilson has been grounded by the Jets. Did you see the press conference that this kid made after he went 9 for 24 for 77 yards with a 24.5 QBR against the Patriots when he saw ghosts again? When he was point blank asked, did you let down your defense? And he defiantly said no. Okay, then you sit over here with a baseball cap until you figure it out, man. That's kind of what Robert Saleh said. He'd be sitting this Sunday. Actually, he won't even be active. You're going to have to figure it out, kid. It's getting kind of late in the game.
Staying in the NFL, I saw this week, and I had to put it in the show, okay? Because this might as well be the logo from now on. All right? This organization is the biggest embarrassment in professional sports. Period. End of story. And now you're telling me this morning somebody was in a golf cart that came on and did damage to the field, and that's being investigated. So the fans have spoken. It's changed the name to the Clowns until Jimmy Haslam sells it, because enough is enough, Steve. Deshaun Watson comes back next week. What the frickin' do? It's not going to make a difference this year. I promise you.
Well, you know, they really had an issue, man, with the field this week. There's a guy that broke in and actually, man, made donuts in midfield. There's an investigation, so it's funny. That's funny. Man, I tell you what wasn't funny as we move to the NBA was this guy, Patrick Beverley, man. You ask yourself, is it fair or foul as he blindsided another guy? If you look to the right of your screen, you see him pushing Chris Paul in the back. Well, he did it again on Tuesday night when he pushed DeAndre Ayton. And consequently, people, it happened to be the same team, Phoenix Suns. And he's pushing people in the back. Look, bro, man, take 3 games. Sit it down and quit pushing people in the back, man. You want to square up with somebody to be a man, get in his face, man. But come on, Pat Bev, quit pushing people in the back, bro.
It was definitely foul. You got 3 games. I mean, the NBA saw it there. Well, there's no place for that, Steve. There's just no place for that.
Hey, Andy. Oh, by the way.
Oh, by the way.
All right, well, this rarely happens, so I had to put this in the show this week as well. Yesterday, there were a lot of NHL games scheduled because it's the day after Thanksgiving, and the NHL is off on Thanksgiving, right? So everybody was scheduled to play. However, 2 teams didn't get to play. In Nashville, a water main broke, and it postponed yesterday's game, and now so much damage was done from the flooding in the arena that today's game is also in jeopardy.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Oh, by the way, Andy, the Bayou Classic is today. Georgia against Southern, Grambling against Southern. The series it's the 49th meeting. How can you not be geek? Man, but what I'm talking about, Andy, is the halftime. I'm talking about the bands as they getting it in at the half. The explosion in the band. I'm telling you, I can't wait.
You know, people go to that game for the music, not for the football.
Oh,
that's
man.
a fact.
Yeah,
that is a fact, my friend.
I know, man. Let's hurry it up.
Hurry up.
All right, Steve. Yesterday, Team USA needed a win more than they needed a tie, but they got the tie, so they do earn a point, okay? They drew England. It's the first time since the last time they were held scoreless in a World Cup, and it was against England, all right? In a scoreless draw, I should say. In a World Cup, it was against England. So now they do control their own destiny because they have to win Tuesday to advance to the round of 16. If they win, they're in. If they lose, they're done. Now, the reason for that is because of what happened earlier in the week when they tied Wales in a game that they dominated, and you and I watched together in separate houses, but together. They dominated this game, Steve Taylor. And if it wasn't for one player and one play, they would already be in the round of 16 after the tie yesterday. So Walker Zimmerman is a defenseman on Team USA. This is the play. He trips a player in the penalty box when he didn't have to. He wasn't about to score, Steve. This is a horrible move. So we're giving him the bonehead sticker this week, okay? But he almost cost them yesterday again. Get his ass off the pitch until he's ready to play smart.
On the main stage, bro. Get on the main stage, man. I tell you what's on the main stage, Andy. NFL storylines. Let's get to the real football.
That's why I said soccer. I said soccer. By the way, I love that commercial with Peyton Manning and Beckham when they argue soccer, football. That's ingenious marketing.
And Peyton Manning, he wins again.
Real quick, before we get to storylines, I know we're in the segment, but I wanted to cap off our World Cup update. Iran beat Senegal yesterday, okay? Yeah. So this is not, they beat Wales. So this is not a walkover on Tuesday. Team USA has to win, and they have to come ready, or they're going home, Steve. And on top of that, Argentina might be going home. If Mexico beats them, that's huge.
Hey, man, it's been upset city. It's been upset city. Andy, man, as we come to the end of our college football season, man, it's time to kind of hone in and look at our NFL storylines and at the power rankings and the way that we see the NFL right now. But we want to do it a different way, man. Kind of interesting, man. We want to do it in tiers, man. And we want to look at it like in every tier, you got a top dog. Then you got contending dogs, and then you got teams that got dogs in the fight.
Okay.
And then you got young dogs. So our bottom tier is young dogs that ain't quite figured it out, but when they do, they could be dangerous, Andy. And so when we look at our bottom tier of young dogs, they're still growing dogs. Man, Ravens, you gotta say they're coming. Your Vikings, Sandy, they're still rolling.
They did it again Thursday night.
Yeah, and nobody's talking about King Henry, the Cane. They just keep winning, Andy.
Yeah. Well, it's ironic that they play Cincinnati this week, since we're talking about both of these teams in this graphic. That game could determine a playoff spot, Steve.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next
Let's
level.
go to the rest of the tiers.
Or tier. Okay.
So we're looking at the three teams that still got fight, the dogs that got fight in them. 49ers, the Dolphins, and then after Thanksgiving and that impressive victory over Minnesota, we got to talk about the Cowboys.
Absolutely. Yeah, and speaking of coming, San Francisco has a very easy schedule. They're about to hit their groove. So yeah, I think they're going to walk away with the West.
Yep. And then now you're talking about teams that's just dogs. You got dogs in the fight. Got to look at the Philadelphia Eagles and the Buffalo Bills. Just dogs. And everybody's got a top dog, and right now, top dog's got to be the Chiefs, man. Here's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that. Some people would say Philly deserves to be up there, but I agree with you. I think it's just Kansas City right now.
So,
you can't lose to Washington, even though Washington's 6-5. You can't lose to Washington at home on Monday night and be considered the top dog.
The Washington Lionel Richie and the Commodores. You lost to Lionel Richie and the Commodores.
Hey, speaking of that, you've got their head coach in our next segment, which is going to be coaches on the hot seat, right?
Yeah. Well,
can you explain to me why
he might have saved his job, man, with that win, man, on Monday night?
I was going to say, can you explain to me why he's on this list? Because I think he's doing a hell of a job.
You got to go to Washington, and the people in Washington, man, they're the ones calling for him. The people around that organization.
I'll tell you what, Steve.
I don't think they want a clean house, man. I think they want to start from the top and work it all the way down, man, and totally clean house.
In my opinion, everybody else on this list, on this graphic, is gone after this year.
Well, Cliff Kingsbury, man, he could be a dead man walking. Nathaniel Hackett is an interesting one because he comes over from Green Bay with all this quote-unquote knowledge of being the guy and being the quarterback whisperer, okay? He's never called plays in his life. Let's just say it out loud. He never called plays before in his life. And he started calling plays, and this is what we got. Oh, by the way, 2/3 of the way to the season, he gives up play calling, okay? So if you give up play calling, that tells me you're out like a scout on a new route. You got one foot out the door and the other man on a banana peel, man. It's not looking good for him.
Yeah, and, maybe McDaniels stays just because Davis is stubborn and he doesn't want to prove to people they're right.
Exactly.
But other than that, Brandon Staley's overstayed his welcome in L.A. I'm sorry. It's time for him.
And you know who's looking at that job that's hovering over? It's a guy named Sean Payton.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
and I'm gonna put one more on that list too. Kevin Stefanski. You watch.
I'll see you.
Just watch. Kevin Stefanski. And I'll tell you what, if it won't be Stefanski, we'll put coaches on that list, and Joe Woods is out like a scout after this year. If he's not, I might be picking a new team to root for, because enough is enough with that defense. I mean, you had Buffalo on the ropes, Steve, and you couldn't put them away. That's all I'm going to say.
You're getting no argument out of me.
All right, let's look at storylines with our MVP candidates, right?
Right. Now, I'm going to ask you, who do you think is in the clubhouse at this point?
I think Justin Jefferson's in the clubhouse. I don't see how you can argue that. I really don't. Without him, Minnesota is not 9-2. Okay? He is the best receiver in the NFL, hands down. It's not even close anymore.
Yeah, I'll give you
It's not
that.
even close.
I'll give you that.
And the numbers he's putting up, Steve, are MVP caliber. It's not just the way he's playing. He's putting up the stats to back it up. And, come on, when's the last time a non-quarterback won MVP?
Yeah,
I'll wait. I'll wait. It's
But
time.
look, man. Bro, we talking about my homie. My homie.
Yeah?
You know? Man, it's, I mean, because Kansas City is not 9-2 or whatever the hell they are without my homie. I'm sorry.
No,
you know.
I'm not saying. I think either one of us could be right in that case. But you're asking me who my guy in the clubhouse is?
Yeah.
It's Jefferson. And if you watch that game on Thursday night, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, let's get into pick 6.
All right, last week I forgot to update the graph. I think I was 2-1, and you were 1-2. Does that sound right?
Possibly.
Okay. Well, I had New England. You had the Jets. Screw it. Doesn't matter. All right, moving on. This week, you got Atlanta fighting for their playoff lives. Washington has won 2 in a row. They made the right decision with the quarterback going with Taylor Heineke over Carson Wentz, even though Wentz is healthy. Washington's at home. Atlanta's reeling right now, Steve. I think Washington's going to keep that momentum. They're going to have a say in the wild card race. If they keep winning, they have to have this game more than Atlanta. So I take Washington at home.
Ooh, man, I tell you what gives me cause for pause is the ability of the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons haven't put 2 games together consistently all year, but they can run the football. Man, it's going to be tough, but I'm going to rock with the Atlanta Falcons, the home team. Give me the Falcons.
All right. Cincinnati at Tennessee. Bengals escape Pittsburgh with a win despite Burrow throwing 2 picks last week. Tennessee is tough at home, and I don't think Cincinnati has the run defense to stop King Henry. So the Titans are walking week by week. They're just pushing their way towards the division title. So I'm going to take Tennessee at home. Plus, I can't pick the Bengals. You already know that.
Yeah, quit hating, man. That's why, man, you're behind in these picks, man. Quit hating. Give me the Bengals.
All right.
I don't have to tell you why. Give me the Bengals.
All right. And then Monday night, the Fighting Jeff Saturdays, as we like to call them. The Colts are going to host the Steelers. Steelers hung in there with Cincinnati, but that was at home. I think Kenny Pickett's going to have trouble with the crowd in Indianapolis, and the Colts need this game more than Pittsburgh does to stay in reach of Tennessee. So I'm a glutton for punishment when I do this because I'm taking all the home teams, but I'm not picking the Steelers. No way. Give me the Colts.
Yeah, man, I love the Fighting Jeff Saturdays, man. They really should. They were a bad call away from beating the Eagles, man. I like the Fighting Jeff Saturdays. I like what he's done. I told you how he was going to impact that team. He's done it right away. Give me the Fighting Jeff Saturdays. Hey, Andy, man, let's pick it up and get right into our college poll this week.
You've heard the rest. Now here's the best. It's the Keeping It Real Sports College Football Poll.
All right, partner. A tough week for Tennessee Volunteer fans. Not only because they lost to South Carolina, but they lost their quarterback as well. Hendon Hooker out for the season, tore his ACL. He's probably going to be out for half of next year as well. That's a long recovery, Steve. So that's a big blow. They have a capable backup in Milton who transferred from Michigan. But at this point, they're probably going to beat Vanderbilt. They'll finish with 10 wins. But do they still get a New Year's Six bowl? What do you think?
They probably do, man. It's tough not to remember what I saw last week, man. South Carolina, man, really took it to those guys, man. Took them out to the woodshed, man. Man, every time that they closed or they thought that they were closing, South Carolina would take off on them again. Man, that's tough for me, but because of respect level and what I like about Josh Heupel, he can scheme them up with the best of them. We got him at number 10.
Number 9, the Oregon Ducks. They defeated Utah in a really good game last week. But, Steve, this is the first time in maybe 5 or 6 years where this is not going to be easy against their rival, Oregon State. Oregon State's a good football team for the first time in a long time. and they could end up ruining Oregon's season, but Oregon still has a fighting chance in the Pac-12 championship.
Well, we have to see if they get that far because they're going to have to beat the Beavers today. Oregon State is number 22 in the country. These guys always play Oregon great, man. But right now, it's all about the Ducks. The Ducks got it done last week with the big win over Utah. We see them at number 9.
Clemson staying steady. They've already got 10 wins. South Carolina, it's going to be tough, but I don't think as tough as people are claiming it's going to be. With Clemson having this game at home, I think that they wake up and make a statement and ask the committee to still be considered when they go and win the ACC championship. So,
well, the
thing interesting.
And they're coming off a big win over Miami. They hung 40 on Miami. South Carolina is a 14-point underdog today. That tells you what Vegas thinks about that. The Clemson Tigers are starting to round into shape. DJ Uiagalelei, he's starting to figure out, man, his strengths and more so his weaknesses. And oh, by the way, Buckeye fans, the Buckeyes will be recruiting DJ Uiagalelei's brother, who will be in attendance today versus that team up north. I'm just saying.
All right, there you go. And if you're an Ohio State fan, though, I think you want Clemson to lose, just in case. All right, USC escapes UCLA. We'll get to that later in that dude. But now they got a big one with Notre Dame. Steve, if Notre Dame wins this game, that actually helps Ohio State quite a bit because that win looks even better.
It does because Notre Dame is starting to climb up. Notre Dame, the win over Clemson was real big for the Buckeyes. But the thing about this, I want you to pay attention at where we have USC ranked. We have them at 7. Why at 7? Because they want to host the games in shootouts, man. The quarterback Caleb Williams has to go into Superman mode to get out of this one. The DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, continue to play giveaway. Give it back that football for UCLA as they continue to give the ball back and continue to give the ball back. USC is going to have to answer a lot of questions today when they face Notre Dame and that torrid Notre Dame rushing attack.
That's a ABC game tonight, so that should be really good. All right, a lot of people may not agree with this, but again, this is our top 10, okay? We know what we're talking about. Alabama, number 6.
Yeah. Dude, tell me, man, 16 is better than Alabama. Don't worry, I will wait.
Exactly.
Okay, nothing else need to be said.
Yeah, isn't it funny how, I will say this, though. Before, when Nick Saban was a lock to get into the playoff, you didn't hear a peep about expanding it. And then yesterday, he comes out and says it's time to expand the playoff because...
Yeah, I'm sure you want to get in. See, you can't win if you're not in. Nick.
Speaking of can't get in if you don't win, LSU could F up this entire thing if they keep winning and somehow find a way to beat Georgia in the SEC championship.
Andy, I don't understand why people really keep bringing this up. Okay, LSU is on a cute little run, and I give them that. But let's rewind. Georgia beat the hell out of them. It wasn't close.
I know.
They beat the hell out of them.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm presenting scenarios for the sake of viewership. Okay.
Yeah. We have to sell tickets. Right.
All right. TCU, Iowa State is 4-7, but they better not look past them. It's still a solid football team with Matt Campbell at the helm, which I think he's moving on after this year. By the way, it's time for him to go somewhere else. But they control their own destiny, Steve. Can they finish the job? Can they get it done today? And can they go and win the Big 12 championship?
Well, Andy, they've had comeback wins 6 of their last 7 games. They come back in thrilling fashion this last week against Baylor. Didn't cover, but they won the game. They moved to 11-0. The thing about the TCU Horned Frogs, man, statistically, everything is there. We've seen at times the offense have been juggernauts. And other times not so good. We've seen the defense be juggernauts, and other times not so good. What I'm saying is, and I want you to look at me real good when I tell you this, TCU, you better show up on both sides of the football and show us, because the committee is watching. You're going to have to put together a full game to get into this playoff, because we're watching you.
Yeah. But Max Duggan might be sneaking his way into the Heisman talk. He's playing like this.
No.
He might get an invite. He's not winning the trophy. He might get an invite. That's all I'm saying.
It's a
All right.
two-way.
Here we go.
Yeah.
The top three haven't changed. And for all the marbles today, Steve, I mean, I literally have not slept well this week waiting for this game today. And I'm so glad. I am so glad it's at noon. Because I don't know if my body could handle having to wait 3 more hours.
Man, you know, I slept just well. You Kingston Dread said, am I coming to the bus for the game today? No, Dread, my brethren, man, you should have told me earlier in the week, man. Maybe we'd have came down to hell, I'd have done the show from there. But look here, man. Here's the thing, man. This game is going to be won in the trenches. Now, Michigan, man, they did their part, man. They held serve last week against Illinois. They got it done. It wasn't pretty, but you get it done. You move on. All questions will be answered today at 12 o'clock. Let's just set it up and let's forget about it. Now, We're going to play football at 12 noon.
Speaking of getting the job done but not looking good doing it, they escape Maryland. Once again, like you said, they fall out of bed. They score 43. But, Steve, the secondary has to play better today. They cannot play like that against Michigan. They can't. They have to improve.
Andy, you're looking at a whole different animal in Tagovailoa. You're talking about a guy, man, that is a dual threat quarterback that's going to get out and make plays with not just his arm, but his legs. And continuously more so with his arm, more so than his legs. Now, when you look at J.J. McCarthy, he's going to be looking to rely on that running game. And when he gets out of the pocket, he's looking to throw the short passing game. Man, what did the Buckeyes defense do well? They disguised and they covered the short passing game, man. At some point, J.J. McCarthy is going to have to play. He's going to have to make a play if Michigan wants to beat the Ohio State Buckeyes. That is the question. Can he get it done?
I'm going to give you a number, okay? 4. If Ohio State sacks McCarthy 4 or more times, they win the game today.
No, you know, it's if we force him to pass the ball, Andy, more than 25 times.
But that's
it.
why I'm saying that.
You know, whether we sack him or not, and we got to get to the number 1 team in the country.
Well, I mean, it's not even close. You know, I know they had a little bit of a hiccup against Kentucky because they should have won that game by a lot more. But I think that they're just trying to get to the SEC championship unscathed as far as injuries and things along those lines. So, you know, they've got an easy one against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's improving.
Oh, really?
But
really?
Not enough to be a threat today. Okay. They're better than they've been, but
you know, see, I understand, but I'm telling you, I've lived in Atlanta. I know the Georgia Tech. I don't give a damn what the record is. They can't be overlooked.
So is Georgia Tech covering? Are you going that far?
They may cover. I wouldn't be. Yeah, I would definitely take the points.
All right. Speaking of taking the points, who you got?
You've heard the rest. Now here's the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
All right, Steve, another rough week for me. I was 0-3 last week. I think you were 2-1. But we got some good ones to pick this week for sure. Man, it's rivalry week. This is the best week of the year in any sport, period. Okay? Let's start with a big one for LSU. They've got the Aggies in Texas A&M, but LSU won a close one last year. They lead the all-time series. 9.5 is a big number in this game, Steve. It is.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it is.
Texas A&M is not a good football team. And I know it's at night. I know it's the 12th man, can get loud. But LSU's got to make a statement before they get to the SEC championship. I think they do it here. I think they cover. Give me LSU by 10.
Man, Texas A&M has been the most disappointing team in college football this season. All the expectations started preseason top 10. How fast that is falling. Jimbo Fisher's going to have to get it done. You talking 9.5? That's a big ass, man, for an LSU team that has bigger aspirations, man. Give me the points. I'm going to take Texas A&M.
All right. Well, we talked about it earlier. Here it is, the rivalry game, Oregon State. Oregon favored on the road by 3.5. They lead the all-time series. They've dominated this series. They won last year by 9. Oregon State's a better team this year, Steve, but I'm okay with 3.5. I think they're going to cover easily. Give me Oregon by 4.
Yeah, I think Oregon State can win it. Oregon can win by a touchdown, man. Give me Oregon. I'm going to give up the points.
All right, here it is. Notre Dame, USC. USC at home on the West Coast, favored by 5. Notre Dame has been playing some really good football. Marcus Freeman doesn't get enough credit for how he's turned that team around since the beginning of the season. And Notre Dame has won the last 4, and I think they're going to make it 5. But they don't have to win in this situation for me. They just have to cover. There's no way this game is more than 5 points. Give me Notre Dame to cover the points.
Man, Notre Dame has been great against the spread all year. Every time I have taken Notre Dame, I have won versus the spread. I'm going to take the Irish again to win versus the spread. And here it is. I'm going to even go one better, people. I'm going to give you my upset special alert. I'm telling you, USC is on upset alert because I like the Irish straight out.
I agree with you on that. All right. It's the end of the show. So did you see that dude? Who we got this week?
Well, we had to see Caleb Williams go into a phone booth and come out with the cape on. Oh, man, the display that he put on against UCLA. This kid completed 74% of his passes, 470 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushed for another 60 yards, so well over 500 yards of total offense for this guy. Yeah, that's that dude. Give him a sticker.
All right, Steve, we are 1 hour and 22 minutes away from kickoff. So let's go get ready for this game because we're going to have a lot to talk about next week with the Big Ten Championship on the horizon and obviously the results of all the rivalry games today. So big show next week. May have to record it because of our schedule, but it'll still air, so don't worry about that, folks. We're here for you. We've got what you're looking for, and when you know we're going to give it to you because we keep it real all the time.
No, man. Hey, man, it's been fun, but we got around, man. Another one in the books, man. So for the Sandman, we wish you
love
and peace. Deuce out.